You want to show the audience? You going to show us on Zoom?
No, you won't be on. No, they won't be able. You can be on if you want to.
Your big debut.
Spin the camera around.
All right.
All right, family, we're gonna get started.
So I'm gonna face this way towards well, maybe I can try to go towards our Zoom. It's
Going on, y'all.
Those get to you. Y'all behind the scenes, family.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Thanks to hear.
Oh, y'all
All
look good up
right.
there,
Good
look.
morning. Good morning, everybody. As we are waiting for some people to join us. Once again, I'm Niesha Perry. I'm the owner of Triumphant Counseling Services, and I'm here with Ms. Niesha Muhammad.
Good morning, I'm Naja Muhammad. I'm the Associate Director here at Point of Freedom Recovery Community. So happy, so excited to be doing our part 2 discussion of boundaries. Let's hit it.
All right, so in part 1, we talked a lot. We just unpacked more emotional causes of not having boundaries. We also just figured out, where does it all begin? It begins in our childhood. It begins from that first person that tells you that you are not good enough. You are being too mean or too strict. So we established how the lines became blurred. So today we're going to talk about, what do we do? Now that we know that they're blurred and we know we don't have boundaries, how do we begin to apply the skills? So last week we were setting the intention to just open ourselves, to be able to be open to receive the information and understanding that we don't always have to come into a room with anything to give others, but being able to just be you, who you are, and just receive so people can see the genuine part of yourself. So today's intention is going to be to do. In stages of change, we know that there's a pre-contemplation stage where you're kind of like, I don't have a problem, I'm okay. And we have contemplation where we're writing hints about changing, not really knowing if we are ready to take that dive. Then we have the preparation stage. Last week, we definitely provided the information and enough awareness to prepare. Now, today, we're going to talk about how to do, how to dive in and begin to take the actions to become a better version of yourself, to establish those lines between you and other people.
This is the scary part. I mean, I really think it's the scary part, and I think that we have to hold each other's hands.
Yes.
Hold our clients and anybody who's watching. If you need to talk about it, give us a call, because I think sometimes we struggle when we're trying to implement something new and we don't get it right away. And sometimes we fail to realize or remember that things take practice, especially when you've been doing it one way your whole life and it hasn't been serving you, and now you have to turn the corner. It can tear you apart when you realize you're not hitting the mark. But it's okay.
Yes.
Because we're doing things with intention. We're setting our intention, and we're gonna keep striving in that direction. Every day is a new chance. Every day is a new opportunity to start over.
Absolutely. So forgiveness and just giving yourself grace.
Yes.
This is a skill. We practice skills. We just don't wake up and have the skills. You just don't. What's something, think about something that you've tried to do, but you've had to take the time to actually practice. So if you really want to do well at playing basketball, you're going to go to the court. Yeah. You're going to go to the basketball court. You're going to shoot some jumpers. You're going to learn how to dribble. You're going to do all of those things. You just can't watch basketball and suddenly know how to play the way that you want to. So giving yourself that space to be able to forgive yourself when you don't get it right the first time. But definitely grace is key. Objectives for today. We are going to talk a little bit more about who we are responsible for, what we are responsible for, learning how to put ourselves first. There was an example this morning. Once again, I was talking to Naja, and we were talking about something, and I said, she's like, well, do you want me to? And I said, no, do you want to? How do you feel about it? So actually thinking more about how you feel before you answer questions, before you volunteer for things, before you help others. How does it really make you feel? You know it's gonna make the other person feel good, but then that puts us in that position to people please. And when we're people pleasing, the other person's happy, and sometimes we suffer inside, or we are angry or resentful. So we really want to tune into how to put ourselves first in a fair way. We'll dive into our fast skill, which is a part of DBT, evidence-based practices. And then we're going to end with some affirmations. That's our plan for the next hour or so. Yeah, so let's start off with our affirmations. I'm huge on affirmations. Let's start off with the I am. Last Friday, we ended with the I am. So today we're going to begin with I am. So we do have some people here present in person with us. So I want you guys to just take a moment and think about 3 things, 3 I ams. It could be I am strong, I am confident, I'm willing to accept change. So think about your 3 I ams, and then when you're ready, let us know what they are.
You gotta write it down.
No, you don't have to, I'm just writing that down, so I can keep it in my mind.
We can't put ourselves first if we don't know who we are.
All right, I'll go. Okay. I mean, this is my favorite. My name is Lloyd. I am willing to accept life on life terms. I am willing to do what it takes to maintain my sobriety. I am willing to do what it takes to have a complete psychic change from the learning and understanding of the 12 steps that I've been practicing with my sponsor. That's all I
Thank you for sharing. That's, yeah, what you mean that's all? That was a lot.
Right.
Oh,
That's enough right there.
Okay, I'm new to this.
My name is Jeff Fitzgerald, and one of my I ams, I am teachable, I'm open-minded. I feel that I'm an effective communicator, and I keep in mind that always what part I may have played in a situation, so I could take responsibility of what I may have did in a situation, in a situation, that way I can solve the problem. You know. And I am assertive, you know. And that's all I can think of right now.
Okay.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I am. Good.
Okay.
I'm gonna type some I ams in the chat on Facebook. I am.
Right, we have our I ams. So, boundaries definitely define what you are responsible for. So on our handout that's titled Clearing the Blurred Lines, once again, our quote from last week is, she set her boundaries and rebuilt her life. The second quote is, no one will listen to us until we listen to ourselves. So what are we responsible for? As human beings, we know that we are responsible for our own thoughts, our own feelings, our words, our recovery, our health, and our own safety. We're not responsible for, this is outside of being a parent. Like I said last week, sometimes the lines become blurred when we are thinking about the safety of others versus the safety of our children. As parents and caregivers, yes, we are responsible for the safety and well-being of the people that we care for. So outside of being a caregiver, think about your friendships, your relationships, who you are on the job. Thinking about what you're not responsible for. Those are things that we can't control. Those are other people. Those are other people's feelings. We may hurt people's feelings, but not intentionally. The intention is to get our needs met and to be fair to ourselves. In turn, someone may be upset and we have to say no. But just knowing that those are their emotions. Sometimes when some people come to you to vent and they just want to talk about their own issues. Guess what happened to me? I'm so sad. I'm so angry. But they're like expecting you sometimes to take on their emotions. Sometimes we have to say like, well, that's not mine to carry. I'm here to listen to you and I understand it, but I can't hold that. Because we have our own things that we have to hold and we are responsible for. So on your worksheet, you guys do have pins. I know that our handouts are available on the Point of Freedom page on Instagram. There is a link tree in the bio, and all of the handouts are there for those of you that do not have them in hand today. So you can download those and read them. They are available.
Can I share an experience real quick?
Absolutely.
A friend of mine, she would seem to always be negative. Always some type of drama would happen. And because she was my friend, when she came with her issues, I should say, it kind of made me feel her pain, and it put me in a depressed state. And I noticed that every time I would see her, it was some type of drama away, and it would take my energy away from me. So I never understood about boundaries. I could have told her, so, well, hey, I wish you the best, this, that, and the third, or somehow establish boundaries. I want to listen and allow you to vent, but because you're my friend, I care for you, it affected me. And I had to kind of shrug it off later on my day to get back on a positive frame of mind or positive vibes that come into my life or to my atmosphere at that moment, because I took on her situation and thought about it, wondering how I could help, what I could suggest, this, that, and the third. And it was just a little bit too much because every time I see her, it was always something. And this boundary class certainly gave me some ideas on how to handle a situation like that now. So I just wanted to just share that with you. Do you have any suggestions how I could have, or how I can in the future, like kind of boom, handle that a little bit better? Yeah, it wouldn't affect me.
So how did it make you feel? As a friend, I know you probably felt torn between listening and knowing when to just.
Right, I wanted to just stop. I don't want to hear no more. I mean, I can't take it because I got my own problem. And it made me feel kind of depressed. I couldn't, my hands was tied. I could only make a suggestion or two. And it was, it didn't make me feel good. I felt kind of, I couldn't do nothing to help her other than to listen to a lot of her issues and problems that she was going through. And then I just started being, she was just one of the type of person that just always has some type of drama in her life. And maybe she even created it in her own mind or something. So I just wanted to be, some techniques for future reference, how maybe we could diffuse that, or how I could keep it moving. Say, oh, well, without being rude, oh, I'm busy, I ain't got time, or I don't want to be rude. And I try to be respectful at all times when I can, but at the same time, I can't allow you to run over me or be disrespectful to her. I'm a very respectful type of a man, But
So two things.
okay.
The first thing is identifying how that made you feel. You said depressed.
Yes.
When you start to feel depressed, the first thing that you can do is figure out like, wow, I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling real heavy and sad right now. Is this mine or is this hers? So a lot of times we have to separate our feelings from somebody else's.
Gotcha.
So once you know, like, okay, I'm feeling depressed and it's coming from her. This is her depression that I'm feeling right now.
Right.
Yep. So now it's like, I gotta help her. What can I do so she's not giving this to me because it's heavy and I don't want to carry her sadness and her issues.
Right.
So just providing that support. Yes. Did you listen to her?
Yeah.
And then how can you offer a resolution and kind of putting it back on her. Sometimes when people are so used to the codependency, they want to bring someone down. So they just want to not take accountability for their own issues, and they want to
Gotcha,
dump
right,
on
right,
somebody
that's
else.
exactly what I'm saying, yeah, that's what it was.
So you give her support. You say like, okay, well, I hear what you're
But
saying.
you got to stand up and deal with that
And
on
this
your own.
is what you could do about it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
This is somebody you can call. Hey, here's a phone number and they can give you support. Or if she needs food, here's a food bank. Whatever it is that she was going through, you need a job, here's a number for a job. So you're giving her the help and the resources,
Right.
and you're not feeling like you have to solve her problems. You're just there to help her.
Right,
Yeah.
that's how I felt too, like, we need to be able to solve the problem. Thank you for that information.
Yes, absolutely. Any other questions?
Sure I do, but I'm thinking.
Okay.
And you know what, just kind of going on that same vein, sometimes I've noticed, and you can correct me, sometimes I notice a person, like for me, I listen, so sometimes people can get in the habit of venting to me. So if I notice that they vent all the time, but when I suggest maybe the very clear first step and they don't do it, and then I do that multiple times, then I'll have to, you know,
Take a step back.
and yeah, take a step back, because it's like, okay, so you're not really, I consider that they're not even speaking to me. They're just talking or venting.
Okay, I see what you're saying, right.
Because I find myself, like you said, taking it in, feeling bad for them, concerned with them, worried about them. But then you realize some people,
They're not trying to do anything about
Yeah.
themselves.
yeah, so we're not in this together trying to solve a problem, just using me as a trash can
Right.
to dump
Dump
your
it.
mess out on.
Okay,
I don't want to be a trash can.
exactly.
No.
Right, I didn't think about it from that
The
perspective.
anger, resentment, depression.
Yeah, I didn't think about it from that angle. Yeah, that's a very good point to see.
All right, so what are you responsible for? That was our first question of the day. What are you responsible for? Think
Yes.
about like on an everyday
Oh,
basis.
well, I'm responsible for what words may come out of my mouth. I'm responsible for my own actions. And the only thing I control is myself and my thoughts and my actions. I can't control anybody else's actions or what they say. I was doing some surveys, getting people signed up along with a friend of mine. And I explained to the brother, I said, well, you ask a person, say, you know, if they could help you with this, signing this a paper or whatever, for whatever you're trying to promote, and you open up a line of communication. And you have to remember that they don't have to necessarily respond to you the way you expect them to. They might say, oh, well, thank you, sir. Well, that's okay. They could be very rude to you, say, hey, get the H out of here with that shit. And you have to be able to accept that up and move on, even though they're disrespectful. But you have to keep in mind that opens up a line of communication as you sign the survey for me, please, ma'am. But you know, and my thinking and most thinking, well, a person say yes and no, thank you, or I don't have time, or yes, I will help you, this, that, and the third. But they can also be rude depending on what state of mind they're in, and they can say, hey, get out of my face, that'll be real nasty. So I was explaining to the brother that you really have to pay attention to a person's body language and vibes, you know, and get a general reading of their personality. And see if they'd be acceptable to what you're trying to do, sign a petition. So when this lady here looks like she might, you know, be a two-process thinker, I can ask her. But you see somebody already irate, upset on the phone, tripping, why would I go up there and say, hey, you know, interrupted it, whatever's going on, would you sign this petition for me? So I'm going to probably get a nasty reaction, you know, and if I get that nasty reaction, I have to accept that. Because I opened up a line of communication. But the first, that lady didn't say anything to me. I got to her and said, hey, can you sign it, whatever. But anyhow, those type of things that I know I'm responsible for what I do and how I'm promoted. And I can't be in control of what somebody else may do with their actions. Yeah, I ran across that.
our Facebook, did anyone put anything in the chat about what they are responsible for or?
No.
How do you know if somebody's viewing you or they're responding, chatting? I mean, if they want to do chat on what they come up on the screen or something?
We got Facebook over here, so it would actually come on the screen.
Okay. Well, some of the technology, ladies, I'm a little outdated on.
That's okay.
Obsolete, I have to say.
Alright, and now we have our chat open on Zoom as well, so you can see your questions, your comments. All right, so next we're going to talk about putting yourself first. So now that we know what we are responsible for, we did talk about ways to still support a friend, support a loved one, but not actually taking on their problems.
Somebody just let me know that they're actually chatting, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
You'll figure it out.
It might just be delayed. No, I don't think so. Yeah.
All righty. So putting yourself first, notice how you feel. So notice how you feel when someone is talking to you about something, you know, we're having these interactions. Last week, we talked about the importance of taking time to just ask yourself, what is it that I need in this moment? How am I feeling? Outside of saying yes to other people, am I saying yes to myself first? So as we put ourselves first, notice how you feel. If you're tired, give yourself permission to be tired. Sometimes, you know, the world goes so fast and people are constantly doing that when we get tired, we feel bad, or other people make you feel bad about it.
So that statement takes me back to what you're responsible for. Because my first thought when you asked, what are you responsible for, was I'm responsible of like kind of walking in my own truth. So if my truth is it's too cold in here, I'm either going to ask you guys to turn the fans off, or if you can't turn the fans off, then I make my decision if I want to exit the room. Whereas some people might want to throw a fit and say, I told y'all I was cold, with the fans off, or someone more like me might be like, ooh, I gotta stay but I don't have to stay. I have to make the choice that works for me. Yeah, and I think even like you said, getting to know yourself and saying those I am statements is just so beneficial, because cold is easy to determine, but what if I am non-confrontational or something, but every time I come here, there's an argument. I gotta know that this is just not the energy that works for me. So maybe I won't come back here. You know what I mean? So I see how the questions kind of all play into each other.
So giving yourself permission to feel how you feel without feeling like you should not feel that way. You know, with Naja's example, cold. Like, oh my gosh, why am I cold? What's wrong with me? No, I'm cold. So I'm gonna go to my car and I'm gonna grab a jacket, because I did ask them to turn the fans off, but it's an inconvenience because everyone else in the room may be hot. But because of that, I'm gonna step outside to get some sunlight, heat myself up, go with a jacket or something, because you are responsible for yourself. We can't always expect other people to stop just to please us. Even though it would be great, and there are some situations where people can accommodate us, but also being prepared to know that everything is not always gonna go our way.
I'm Jeff again. You know, just kind of on the opposite side of the coin of that, I found myself from periods of time being a people pleaser, especially at a new job. You know, I really want to do this, so you know, I said, well, I can do that for you. I can go ahead and get that for you. I'll go do it. I'll volunteer, and I found myself being overworked. And then it got to a point that some of my coworkers was expecting, hey, Jeff, would you do this, do that? When they can simply do it themselves. So trying to be a people pleaser, I had to Well, somehow I guess it was just embedded in me intuitively. I knew, well, wait a minute, let me stop this particular behavior and say, I'm sorry, I can't get it. You got to get it yourself. You know, that type of thing. Once I got a little time on the job, but I certainly got to be aware of knowing, being able to please myself, like you were saying. You know, I know it's okay to say no to somebody. No, I can't. You have to do that yourself. I'm not able to do it right now, or I'm not. You know, I'm gonna take a break, and I'm not gonna lie to overwork me. That type of thing.
Yes, and just knowing that you are enough.
Is that what you were saying? I mean, am I kind of on point with what you're talking about?
You are enough. When you got hired onto the job, whatever position it was, you applied for it, you interviewed, they hired you. So recognizing that you are enough before
What my job duties were, not going over and above and Call of
you
Duty.
didn't have to do all that, because after you did it, how did you feel doing all the extra work?
Wore out
Yeah.
and kind of misused.
Yes.
You know, that wasn't a good feeling, Miss Perry.
Yeah. But being a people pleaser is a mode of control. You were trying to not just show people like, this is who I am.
Yes.
I am Jeff. You were trying to control how people view you. So you had to overwork yourself, and now you all tired.
Right. That's exactly what it was. And I certainly tightened that up in that department, you know.
And I would say, because I have people pleasing tendencies myself, and I would say inherent in the term is you have a fault. Like, it is not my responsibility to please you. I may do something that you find pleasing, but I may do that same thing in 2 weeks and you don't find it pleasing. It's not my responsibility whether you're pleased or not. It's my responsibility to do what I'm supposed to do, or what I have planned to do. So if it feels good to me to go ahead and grab the broom and sweep this room today, then I'm gonna do it. And in 2 weeks, if the room needs sweeping and I say, well, I'm dealing with some allergies today, I'm not sweeping. If you're pleased or not, it's what I need to do.
Right, I
But
understand.
if my job duty is sweeping floors, perhaps that might be a little bit different.
Right, I understand that. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Going above and beyond.
Yeah, well, beyond Call of Duty, it's not good sometimes.
Oh, and you pointed out that
Yes.
after a while, it started to feel like people were taking advantage.
Yeah, because they were used to me.
Coming
Yeah.
from their direction, they might feel like, well, why are you getting mad? You always do it.
Exactly, and I think that's what it was more so that, well, you know, Jeff is dependable, you know, I'll just ask him to do it. And they wasn't really realizing that it was putting wear and tear on me. So eventually, I got an understanding with my coworkers just a while ago. So, and I learned from that job experience. So when I went on to the next job, that experience benefited me to where I was able to grow from that experience, you know. That type of thing.
People only treat you how you treat yourself.
Oh, Ms. Perry, can I ask you a question? What is these things behind your name? I see I was curious what a LPCC is. What is that?
Licensed professional clinical counselor. And the S is I'm a supervisor, so I have my supervision designation.
Okay.
The LICDC, licensed independent chemical dependency counselor, and I also have my supervision designation.
That is MED? The M?
The MED Master of the Education.
Okay. Wow, I should have known that one. Oh, some time ago, things changed so much for me, but I was studying, it was called a CCDC.
Yes, that
So-
was my first.
But they changed that. See, a lot of stuff I did, I mean, I changed my field of work and got into construction, doing asphalt, cement, carpentry work in the unit. So I got away from some of the stuff. And like I said, at CCD, so a lot of stuff I was dealing with become obsolete. You know, I'm a 10-finger typist. I work with East Cleveland City Hall as a civil clerk. I was the first male clerk at East Cleveland City Hall. I'm the Judge Cleveland Deputy Clerk Pro Bellum. And I worked for several years with the Fallen Post newspaper as an advertising representative. The point I'm getting at is that when I was on computers, it had WordPerfect, Word, that type of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And so now, for me to navigate through the computer, it's just a little frustrating for me, but thank God I'm able to read a little bit, so I'm able to follow the prompts and stuff, but I still get frustrated a
Well,
bit.
we have We do have an intro to computers happening here, and we're gonna partner with another
Oh,
organization
you
to
do?
offer that. So definitely keep posted on our social media so you know what's coming up next. But we can discuss that after this conversation, because I do think you have a few more
Okay, yes.
boundaries for the points to touch on.
So spend time, okay, so where is that? Give yourself permission to be tired and say no to giving someone a ride or doing something for someone else, even if it's attending an event. If you're tired, you don't want to do it, just be okay with not doing it. Spend time doing what matters to you the most. This goes back to our boundaries with time. How much time are we spending committing to doing things? We want to make sure that we balance our priorities and our demands. Do not do things for others that cause you to feel guilt or resentment, that makes you feel uncomfortable, and communicate that. We talked about being able to say, like, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And it is okay to express how you feel versus telling someone, I can't believe you asked me that, or you. But no, I feel. Express how it will negatively impact you. If I let you borrow $50 until Friday, then I won't have gas money for the week, or then I will feel angry at myself because I don't know if you're ever going to give it back. So being able to just express like how it's going to negatively impact you if you constantly overstep your boundaries. Every time you put yourself first by listening to your body, your feelings, and your intuition, you are making the changes that empower you. You're taking the steps towards happiness and change. The people in your life will adjust. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. They'll adjust. They're okay.
That's a hard one for me. I think that I would like me to almost say that as an affirmation. Like, I can choose to put myself first and trust that other people will adjust. Like, I need to affirm that, because I think, like I said, I'm a people pleaser, and people pleasing is rooted in control. And I think I am comforted by that control, knowing that I did everything I could to try to make sure everybody stays my friend.
Yes, you're trying to control other people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So affirming that whatever is for you is going to be for you. The people that are supposed to be in your life are not going to leave you. And a lot of times we people please because we're afraid that people are going to leave us and we're going to do something wrong. We have to be good. We have to be right. They're going to leave if they want to.
We can't control it. We can't.
Let's get into our skill. We have two fast sheets, but I like to break things apart. So we're going to use our first sheet. Our first sheet has the definition of fast, and on the bottom there are some lines to be able to write and express. So fast is a skill we use for self-respect effectiveness. When we talk about boundaries, we talk about fairness to ourselves as well as others. So the S in fast, we're going to skip to the S because I want to talk about values for a second. The S stands for stick to your values. You need to identify your current values in order to stick to them. So a value is defined as something that's important to you. So something that makes your life worth living. And then we have our morals. Our morals are our rules that we live by. So for example, if you value your freedom is important to you. And then your friends ask you to go rob a bank. Right? I got rules. I value my freedom, so I don't do anything that will cause me to lose my freedom. I don't rob banks. We have rules for life. So my question is, what are some of your values? As we are looking in our Facebook chat, our Zoom chats, what are some things that you value?
I value my recovery.
What do you do not to jeopardize that and show other people that you value it?
I apply the 12 steps to my life. I try to live an honest program. I try to try to go to at least 3 meetings a week, AA meetings a week. I try to be open-minded and think about the next person's feelings before mine. And I try to, give back, help people, Yeah,
Those are great things. It's a lifestyle.
yeah.
You know, your morals are how you live your life.
Mhm.
This is Jeff. I value my integrity and dignity, and my ethics and my teachings that I was taught, as I was coming up. As to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, wrong from right. And I don't know, it's just a certain amount of integrity and dignity that I have for myself that is just the things that I'm not going to do. That they're, first of all, if they're wrong, if they're incriminating, I'm gonna back up from that. And then I will feel offended from the individual that might even ask me to participate in some negativity or just be offensive, period, because if I show you respect, I expect you to give me respect in return. And I do like dealing with mature adults. I expect a queen to be the beautiful queen that she is and conduct herself in that way, and a gentleman to be a king that he's meant to be.
Here.
I look like Jackie. Oh, what's she doing?
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Jackie.
Morning, Jackie.
Hey, I'm on Zoom now. I was on Facebook, but I don't think you were able to see my chats. So I just left Facebook and came over here. Great conversation. Shakira, did you ever get to see my chats?
Nope, we did not see any chat on Facebook.
Oh, maybe you got to swipe over. But it's okay. I'm here now.
You want to say hi? Hi, Jackie. This is Jeff from Alliance.
Jeff from Alliance.
Yeah, Alliance Treatment Center.
Yeah.
Thank God it's Friday. I was on Thank God it's Friday one day. That's where I met you.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Jeff.
Since we can't see your chat, would you want to let us know what you had commented?
Oh, sure. I was just listening to the conversation and everything was just really resonating with me. But I was saying how at the beginning, someone was speaking about how, they had a friend who there's always something going on in their life. And I was saying how, sometimes people are addicted to sadness and drama. And so they try to pull you into it and just for attention. And sometimes when people are attention seeking, even if it's negative attention, they're happy with that. So, I was just saying how we have to be mindful and set our boundaries there. And then about the people pleasing is also a form of dishonesty, because when we are people pleasing, we're like Ms. Perry mentioned, we're trying to be in control and we're not being honest about our feelings. So it's a form of dishonesty. And then in the 12 steps, we know that honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness are the pillars of our recovery. So we have to, and it doesn't happen overnight, but we have to just practice being honest with ourselves and setting those healthy boundaries and being comfortable with saying, I can't right now, or I'm not comfortable with that. You asked about what do we value? And I was saying my dignity. So even though, I value my freedom. So if somebody asks me to rob a bank, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Nope, I value my freedom. But also if somebody asks me to do something that's going to compromise my dignity as well, in which has been a process, we all come from different walks in life. So I'm just sitting here. I'm sorry I can't show myself, but you guys would not want to see me right now. I'm not feeling 100%. The weather is it's early. I'm an hour difference with you guys. So it's just now a little after 10 and it's already like 90+ degrees. And I'm under 2 fans. So, but I'm here with you listening in.
Thank you. All right, so we have our S, which are our sticking to our values. So now that we've defined our values and we've had some more discussion about dignity, respect, as well as our morals, we can shoot back up to our F. Our F is fair. And we do have a FAST skill. It says interpersonal effectiveness, the guidelines for self-respect effectiveness, keeping respect for yourself. That's at the top of the worksheet. So when we're fair, first thing we have to do is be fair to ourselves and to others. So there are some ways that people often feel like, hey, as long as I'm fair to myself, or I can tell someone no or decline a request, and that should be enough. Well, when we're thinking about our relationships, we want to maintain relationships. The importance of having boundaries is because we're looking at who we are individually and in our relationships. We're not teaching in this segment, we're not necessarily teaching how to cut people off and just say no to certain things. That's a different discussion because there are some things that we just need to end completely, like relationships. Even in recovery, we're looking at people, places, and things that we can no longer associate ourselves with. So that's a different topic. So today we are focusing on how to be fair to ourselves and others. If you're only fair to others, you will suffer and your needs won't get met. When you're fair, you feel less guilt because you are recognizing your own needs and feelings. So think about, how do you respect other people's boundaries and how are you fair to other people? And as you think about that for a moment, we don't necessarily have to, talk about it. If there's something that you want to share, you're more than welcome. I just wanted to kind of sit with that for a moment. Because other people have boundaries as well. So just because we're here trying to figure out our own, we never know the journey someone else can be on. So it's okay to do those check-ins, Niesha, how you doing? Are you okay with that? Mm-hmm. Our A stands for apologies. No over apologies. An over apology is somebody is like saying sorry for not feeling well. I'm so sorry that I'm sick. Yeah, you probably are because you don't want to be sick, but you don't necessarily have to apologize for that. You're feeling under the weather, as friends, as loved ones, we appreciate you at least, acknowledging this is why I couldn't be here versus just not showing up at all. So we want to be able to not apologize for having feelings. Don't apologize for having thoughts and opinions. Speak with confidence and self-respect. Treat yourself how you want to be treated. Honor yourself and the rest will follow. We can't force our boundaries on other people. We change ourselves and then they respond how to treat you. So moreover, with the no over apologies, we don't want to apologize for being alive or making a request. You don't want to apologize if you disagree with somebody. I don't want to just be like, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Because that shows people that you don't have confidence and self-respect. And in turn, they start to treat you like you're sorry.
It's so interesting because I think that that's how we have, if not taught our children, socialized our children. So that when you walk into a building and maybe you're greeted by a receptionist, it's not, can you show me the way to room 123? It's, I'm sorry, but I'm looking, that is the opening statement. I'm sorry that I'm here and need your help, person who's here to help. Yeah, so it's almost like we got to kind of de-socialize ourselves from that, or kind of re-socialize ourselves to, I'm here and I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, not bothering.
I'm not bothering people by being here.
Yeah, we don't want to look ashamed. We want to have our heads held up high. We want to show our confidence. Body language is key. We are saying no to someone, or we are asserting ourselves. We want to look confident. We don't want to look like, oh, well, I'm really not really sure, and I'm just so sorry, and oh my gosh, because they're going to take that and be like, okay, so you might as well just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said, Ms. Muhammad, right? You know, about, you know, being, you know, and not being over an apology, you have to apologize, move on, but you don't have to really dwell in it. And it's okay to say no, And that's interesting. I like what you said. I think, I just go back to being a respectful person and just the way I was raised with my integrity and dignity. And my mom, God bless her soul, instilled a lot of that to me. I'm very respectful to women. And by taking your class and listening to you ladies, I can see how some men could come off to seem like they, intruding on your boundaries, so to speak. And I see where you have to set a boundary. Hey, wait a minute, now you almost on the borderline of being offensive or disrespectful, So you all really opened my eyes up to seeing some different things, and I thank you, Ms. Moran, and I thank you, Ms. Perry.
So no over apologies. The S obviously is sticking to our values. And then we have our T. Our T stands for truthful. Are you getting what you deserve from others around you? Are you staying true to yourself? And when you know that you are being fair to yourself as well as the other person, you're not over apologizing, you're sticking to your values, and you are staying truthful, then you know in your heart that you're making the best decisions. The best decisions for you, your family, and your life as a whole.
Yeah, you said, are you getting what you deserve? And I think that is a concept that has been problematic for me as a receiver, because I think sometimes people use the word deserve to decide whatever they're gonna throw at you. Well, okay, so like Jeff said that he does some people pleasing, so he could say, I've been helping with doing all this extra for the past, 6 months that I've been on the job. I deserve fill in the blank. And that may not be true. So how do we, what is it that we actually do deserve?
And that's for us to determine, like on our own, what we deserve on a broader scale. So yes, not using deserve as a weapon. I deserve this, I took you out on a date, so I deserve to be able to spend the night. No, that is not how that works. We don't want to use deserve as a weapon or how to manipulate something or someone. When Jeff was talking about his job, he didn't go in with explaining to people like, hey, if I do this for you, then maybe, if I work your shift, maybe you could work my shift for me during, a time that I might need a day off or something. There was no compromise. So he went in just doing, and then all of a sudden he gets overwhelmed and feels upset, and it's like trying to double back, and the person has no idea that that's how he was feeling. So we don't want to use that to manipulate people. We want to think about what we deserve as far as respect. I deserve to be treated and acknowledged. Mm-hmm. So kind of breaking that deserve up a little bit, what are some things that you feel that you deserve from yourself?
Mm-hmm. It's still a work in progress. I feel that I deserve to walk in my truth, and I only get that from myself. So if I'm uncomfortable in a situation, I deserve to ask that it be changed or remove myself from the situation. I deserve, I already say to be comfortable. Yeah, just basically to be comfortable physically, comfortable emotionally, comfortable in my spirit. Um, at this point, I'm feeling like that's the foundation, and then anything else will come out of that. Girl.
Comfort and truth. I love it.
And the comfort comes from truth and from honesty.
So from our families, what do we deserve from our families?
Right. Support, encouragement,
What about from friends?
um,
Like support and encouragement from friends as well.
that's good.
That's honesty too, because
Yeah, honestly.
you know, like even if you can't offer the support that the way that they want, at least be honest as to why. And if I say I can't come to your party because I'm ill, and then you see pictures of me at another party on social media, that would feel horrible.
Yeah.
So just the honesty, hey, somebody else's party looks better, that's where I'm going. Better for me. Because if not, if I find out, I'm gonna feel, I'm gonna feel like you didn't treat me the way I deserve to be treated and the way that I would hope that you expect to be treated by me. So unfair. Yeah. This is a tough conversation.
What about from our significant others?
Support, um, um, I'm not really good with seeing it on this, so I don't really know. They should be supportive though, and
The big one for me is to be heard. From my significant other, I deserve to be heard. Heard and listened to on a different level than my family and my friends, because we are a partnership. So I need to be able to vent to you and express to you things. I need you to be able to hold that space for me to be as transparent as possible and for you to hear me. That way I can feel safe. You know, we're looking at safety, safety at home, safety in our intimate relationships. That's a whole nother level of what we deserve. And when we're not getting those things that we deserve from our significant others, that leads to conflicts, breakups, cheating, infidelity, all types of things. Because we go out and we know that we deserve those things and we need our needs met. Then we go out and we get it from other places. Whether, not saying that's cheating all the time, but that could be drawing closer to your friends and your friends being like, girl, we don't need them.
I'm not seeing any new comments. Jackie's comments finally came through. So I'm
Okay.
trying to refresh them, but I'm not seeing any new ones. If anyone is sending them, I'm not ignoring you, but they have not come through.
And
So,
always,
Miss-
our contact information is up. If you ever need to send an email, you can definitely email.
So I was thinking when you said about with our partners, and the first thing that popped up to me was like, that's kind of sticky because or it could be like a real fine line, like you said. For instance, I might like to play cards and my partner doesn't like to play cards. So whenever I'm saying, okay, I'm going to play cards, I shouldn't be made to feel guilty or anything, but at the same time, in a partnership, there has to be some sort of compromise. So if I'm playing cards 5 times a week, then I need to probably take a look at it. I mean, it's just kind of a fine line, but you know, you hear people say all the time how they lose themselves in relationships. You know, they lose who they are, trying to accommodate their partner. And then when the relationship is over, they have to kind of like try to rebuild themselves or reinvent themselves to find out who they are again. So in a relationship, setting boundaries is definitely needed, but it can be a real task.
Finding that balance. Like these are the days of the week I'm going to play cards, and then your significant other can have days where they have a hobby as well.
I ask that's where all of those other class acronyms come in, because I've heard of people who like share passwords to everything. That might not work for in every situation, but if we've communicated, we've been honest, we've expressed our values, and you know, we've determined that we're fine with sharing passwords, but another couple is not okay with it. You know, it's just a matter of communicating honestly. And, you know, I think I've seen examples in relationships where maybe people do things in a way that really works for them, whereas, you know, from the outside looking in, you're like, I would never. But the concept of losing yourself in a relationship, I think we can get around that by prioritizing ourselves, our values, and then connecting with someone who can resonate. And if they can't, we have to be self-confident. Is that what are the fast acronyms for self-confident?
No over apologies, fair, sticking to your values, and being true. The confidence definitely comes from not apologizing.
Yeah, we have to be kind of confident in ourselves enough to, or have enough self-regard to be okay with moving on. And you find out it's not just a regard for self, it's regard for other people as well, because I don't want you here unhappy trying to fit into the box that I need. So I'm gonna boss up enough to let you go. And that's really hard. And I think again, it can be a work in progress, it's a practice, it's something that we can kind of learn to shape over time. Like I said, this conversation is hard for me. You're kind of requiring tapping into a brand of maturity and being principle-centered. This is challenging, but it's not impossible. And again, everything kind of feeds off of the other things. So as you learn who you are, and as you learn your values, and as you learn to be comfortable with saying no and being honest and coming from your integrity, the other things will begin to fall into place. I believe. I pray.
You can't have boundaries if you don't know who you are.
I agree with you, Ms. Muhammad. I think it's very important, especially in the beginning of a relationship, to have a mature relationship with boundaries and being able to accept a yes or a no coming from your significant other, person that you're going to love and care for. You know, and I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to be in a mature relationship that's growing and that's developing, you know, and having somebody that's mature also with your significant other, because a relationship, you start dealing with feelings and emotions and being, having a child's response sometimes to different issues and circumstances. And so we have to be very accepting. Something you have to accept a yes or a no, and then communication, effective communication is very important. And so boundaries for me in the beginning of a relationship is very important. If I earn your trust or you earn my trust, and then maybe I can share a PIN number with you.
Yeah,
But,
it's in.
you
It's
know, I'm
even
kind of
just
old
in.
fashioned. I'm kind of old fashioned in that department. But like I said, I try to keep an open mind in a lot of things because at this stage of my life, I like to be confrontational through, you know. I try to solve drama as quickly as possible or misunderstandings. And I come back to effective communication because if you have effective communication, you don't have no misunderstanding. So it's important to me in my business dealing and relationship that I'm communicating effectively, that we're communicating effectively. That way, I have a clear cut understanding. Nobody walks away with a misunderstanding, hurt feelings, or creating crazy ideas in their mind. So I was just touching on what you were saying. So.
So when we talk about what we deserve, we gotta ask ourselves, well, why do I deserve these things? That will give us that confidence. If we feel like, yeah, I deserve support. Well, why do I deserve this support? Support? Well, as Jeff was giving an example about working, I deserve support from my staff members. Why? Because I give it to them. I support them. I go above and beyond. So I do deserve that. Then we have to ask ourselves, once we figure out why do I deserve all these different things, that helps us be able to stick to our values and stay truthful and not budge. Because sometimes we feel like, yeah, I deserve these things and we don't get them, it's easy to give up. It's easy to be like, I'm not getting what I deserve, so maybe it's not meant to be, or this is too hard. I don't want to do this no more.
I feel like Niesha talking about me.
That's an amazing thing, a remarkable thing to be truthful and open and honest, you know. This process I've been coming through in regards to recovery, I found out that I'm an emotional man because for years, I'm talking about years, I was just taught not to cry, I was taught not to feel pain, physically or emotionally, you know. I'm a military man, so when you're in battle, a lot of that stuff you have to block out mentally, right? And it's just a beautiful thing when someone can be honest with me and I can be honest with them, and I really feel that they're not trying to be deceitful with me. I'm not trying to be deceitful with them, and use your spiritual discernment, your spiritual judgment to say, oh, I can believe and trust. Because as a man, I realize now that I have feelings, and my feelings can be hurt, and then I have to respond to them. So that's a chumpish thing to do. My thinking used to be that's some soft sucker stuff. You for saying that. So I had to mature as a man to say, okay, it's okay that you know, I'm emotional. I can cry, you know, and I was sharing some things in a group that I was in, and tears just started to flow. And I was so embarrassed that I couldn't stop. I had to get up, you know, and my pride and arrogance, I had to get up and just step outside because I didn't want anybody to see my face all twisted, my voice cracking like some soft person. So over the period of time with this particular group, they let me know that it was okay to express itself, and I'm okay with that now, you know, because I can't be concerned with another person thinks because I might cry this, that, and the third, but just the way I was brought up with, you know, 8 of us, you know, 6 brothers and 2 sisters, then my cousins, they 4 boys, they live with us too in a big house, so it was just the way I was brought up, and certain things I see that. They didn't know any better. Teach the way a man's not supposed to cry. Or didn't nobody hit you and then say, what you crying for? You know, this is what I would get. I'm mad, I'm crying because I couldn't get this, that, and the third. What would you crying for? You know, you didn't fall and hit your knee. Did you say, well, you ain't hurt yourself, well, why are you crying? So, you know, different stuff I realize now, it just wasn't the proper way to bring an individual up, and it's okay to cry, you know, and really just chapter my life, I'm really just responding to that.
A lot of feedback.
And it's awesome that you were in a place where even though you were raised one way, you were able to get the feedback from the group that said it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to express your emotions here. So, and that's what you deserve for being part of that group.
Yes.
You deserve them to make it safe and okay for you to express however you express, as long as you're not infringing on anybody's space or safety, you should be able to express yourself. And it is a big deal. Jackie said that's huge. Men do cry, you're human with real feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that helped me out as becoming a mature person, more well-rounded person, where I'm able to express my feelings in a positive way and receive different things and stuff like that, and take constructive criticism and sometimes word hurt, the truth hurts. So
Yeah.
I can accept that and move on, but that certainly helped me mold me as a mature man over the years. Yeah, and with that, I pass.
So just setting reasonable expectations for what you deserve, and recognizing the steps, that you can take to get what you deserve if you're not getting what you deserve from the people around you. So we talk about breaking it up between like what I deserve from the world as a whole, and then shrinking our world down to what do I deserve from work, family, friendships, my children, myself. So really taking that and breaking it up, because it may be different things there are different things on different levels. But having that confidence to know I deserve this. I deserve to experience a wide range of emotions. I deserve to understand what it feels like to sit with my sadness for a bit instead of being so afraid of a negative emotion. It's okay to sit with that. And just like a cloud in the sky, we can put our anger, we can put our sadness, we can put grief on our cloud. And we can sit with that for a minute, but clouds float.
Yeah.
And we can allow things to flow, but at least we experienced it, we felt it, we acknowledged it. And then we cope and we move on in a healthy, effective way. But we're no longer saying like, I can't feel this. This is bad, this is bad. No. Because all of that lives in our bodies, and eventually it's gonna come up. So we might as well just deal with it so we can become, a better person as a whole.
Gotcha.
So we definitely made it through our skill for the day. I want to thank everybody for joining us over these past 2 weeks. We definitely had some healthy conversation around boundaries. We learned our new skill, which is the fast skill in DBT. We also learned how to maintain self-respect. We understood where the lines became blurred. A lot of our childhood experiences throughout life, which molded us to the people we are today. And now we have the skills that we need to go out into action and to actually practice these things. Understanding that we're not perfect, it is going to take practice. There are some days we may not succeed, but we know that we can just try again the following day. We can keep track of our progress in a journal. We can even ask for feedback from our close ones to know what we're working on.
It's a great tool. I can't wait to try it out and tell you how it works. Self-respect effectiveness. That is a mouthful. And I think the concept of self-respect, I think the question that would be in the back of the mind is, well, how do I get there? And now we have a foundation. So thank you so much, Niesha.
Yes, thank you all for having
It's been a
me.
great conversation. And it's just the beginning. Keep working on it. Talk to your peer supporter. And definitely, like I said, stay tuned so that you can know what programs we have coming up next.
If you have any questions, my email address is triumphantcounseling@gmail.com. If you have any extra feedback or even any suggestions on topics that you feel you want to cover during the next session. Great.
Well, question, when's the next session?
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
Oh, I thought this was every Friday type of thing, no?
We had part 1 and a part 2, and this was part 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I caught the latter part. Very good stuff. Appreciate you, ladies.
So we
Have a
are-
great day, everyone.
Yes, thank you, you too. We are gonna be there right here.